by the memory and the pictures of seeing Jimmy today on the tape you showed me. I'm still shaking. But this is about you, so let me say happy birthday. But more specifically, let me say that I have not seen Grace for 26 years until this morning. Nothing in common with me. And every one of those principles that I learned from the NOR organization were there to be part of my guidance. The values, the principles, they come from you, but they come from the spirit of what all the people who contributed through you and all the members of NOR gave me. And I would be less than a perfect human being if I didn't do my absolute best to live that and believe that. So let me say this. I left Detroit 26 years ago, and I went and put in practice what I learned in NOR in Iowa. So I don't have a clue about what's happening in Detroit. But I do have a clue about the way in which our country has a vision. Let me tell you what NOR taught me and what Grace specifically taught me. I'm going to go very fast. Number one, she said to apply the principles where you find yourself. No revolutions are transportable, and all ideas have to be made indigenous to the people that live there. Number two, she told me, learn to manage your despair, because change is not a straight line. And there are a lot of people who don't survive revolutionary activity because of despair. So learn to manage the despair and find the hope in the work you do. And number three, she said, and I love this one, make sure you're fighting and doing for something, not always against something. And I heard somebody today that we are together because of something that we see, not always organized around something that we're against. So I want to tell you, I love you. I miss the hell out of NOR. NOR is in me. You know, you are in me. And by the way, I was just in China. Can you imagine 6 days ago I was in China? I'm giving it to you, Shay. You know what we have here? An example of being bigger. We got to get big and bigger. Grace having a birthday ought to be a national activity. What she represents is the bridge, because what Grace and Jimmy and the first persons I met, General Baker found me on the roof of Hyde Park Community College getting expelled. Then found me. I was upstairs on the roof, raised the sand, and kids said, come down here. What are you doing? I'm throwing stuff. I didn't know what to do. I was back home. But the next set of lines that I was able to listen to was some of the tapes that Jan and Mary had about Grace and Jimmy. As they were moving, they were creating a trail and letting some other folks know you can have some hope. There's some reasons, some problems in terms of what's happening with this, the greatest country in the world. Maybe it's not so great with a capital G, it might be a small G. And there were issues, and there were economics, and there were principles that she suggested that we learn. The thing that's so important about Grace Boggs is not only, she always gives those speeches about her. She can't hear, and how many teeth she has, she got speeches. She says that all the time. I invite you all, nothing else that myth about black people getting together, being happy room, y'all just to kill the hell out of them tonight, right? I'm not going to Mars for in this bad boy.
You know, when I joined the movement, radical movement, I was in my mid-20s, the way so many of you who have been at the Allied Media Conference. And in order to be a revolutionary, I was taught that this tough thing. You've got to be ready to do everything necessary to get angry people, mobilize, make them angrier, and seize state power. So so that you could change society from the top down. About 70 years ago, not very long in terms of millennia that human beings have been on this earth, but it's a long time. Most of you are not yet 70. And if you talk about love in connection with revolution, you were, as Shay Guevara said, likely to be ridiculed. And I've witnessed so many changes in the concept of revolution over the last 70 years. And I think that this gathering embodies the new concept of revolution, which has actually developed over the period of these years. First of all, that concept of revolution was discredited by the failure and the demise of the human. But it wasn't only that that was discredited, it was a new concept of revolution in literature. First of all, we have the women's movement, which said that the personal is political, and the political is personal. So we couldn't think of revolution in those same tough terms anymore. And then we had the ecology movement, which talked about loving the earth and loving the places where we were born and where we were raised. And then there was Martin Luther King talking about we love a community and how we had to build community or we would face chaos. And now we have that chaos. And our alternative is to build community and to build it on the basis of love. To have lived through those transitions in fundamental concepts has been a great privilege. And that's what I want to share with you tonight. And know that you're part of that. And that you are coming into your own at a time when we have to make love and revolution one and the same thing. Now, we're not doing that by ourselves. We're doing that in a historical context. All over the world, in the last 20 years, there are tens of thousands of women that in resistance to globalization and to the commodification of all our relationships to one another and to the earth, have formed to build community. To begin relating to one another in our cities and in the country, wherever we are, with the care and the loving that we devote to our most personal relationships, to our families. That's where we are. That's where the economic meltdown and the global warming have brought us. And there are historical events to back us up. In 1994, right after NAFTA was enforced on January 1st, 1994, the Zapatistas took over 6 cities militarily, but then they gave up their arms and went back to the community to build the indigenous, to build a kind of participatory democracy. And 5 years after that, in 1999, all sorts of people came together. Women, peace groups, labor, to close down the World Trade Organization and to affirm that what matters is people and not the free trade document. And what happened here now, after that, what happened was that in Porto Alegre, Brazil, these World Social Forums to say that another world is possible, thanks to all of